Yesterday was a very ambivalent day. It was ambivalent because, on the one hand, I wanted to introduce you to let's just say, some of the most inspirational, wonderful ideas and concepts, and for want of a better word, and to put it right down to the point, people you'll ever meet, you'll ever know. And on the other hand, a certain concept came up which left me kind of shaken. And I'd like to explore some of the reasons why I was shaken, and also go beyond what we talked about yesterday. My name is Matteo Castelli, and I have the audacity to say that I'm here talking in spirit to God and Christ, and that this is a common thing for me. And I'd like to take you on a trip, on a journey, as it were, to explore this walk as I walk on a daily basis. Hopefully I could get some stuff out on a frequent basis. But I want to discuss some of the ideas that came up last time. For example, imagine you have the opportunity to talk to God, and imagine it was something like tit for tat. You ask something of Him as you would want to know, something like, what? Can you help? Or do you know? Or can you give me? And what do you think He would want to ask of you? Would you want? Can you help? Do you want to hear what I have to say? I would imagine that He'd have a lot to say to us. I would imagine that He'd have so much stored that He'd want to convey urgently what has been on His mind for a long, long time. And yesterday, I asked God, tell us, what is your summation here? How are we, your children, performing? How do we rank up? What have we done? How do you feel our net result has been? You know, it's kind of a bummer, isn't it? Like, we know the answer, don't we? But then again, the potential, nobody gives up hope. I don't give up hope. You don't give up hope. And they don't give up hope. I do not. You know, that's just like, isn't it like a father who has a son who has kind of disappointed his father empty times, and the father still, each and every single time, goes into a new situation with hope that maybe his son will deliver, come true on his dreams, live up to the expectations, do what he should. Well, I think that's what the potential of humankind is. We're fallible. We have such imperfection. And there's such hope. And I'm not the only one who has it, because we have the drive that reflects the stamina that represents our natural hope, because we don't give up. A million times we don't give up. And why should we? What do we have to lose? Hopelessness and helplessness. Every new generation, there is a new sense of possibility. That's why our children reignite us. And we have new hope and profound belief in ourselves and the future. So, yes, we are, how should I put it, graded on a marking scheme that is not very high in the rankings of the highest deciphers of meaning and truth, who see us perhaps as, what I said yesterday, a failed experiment perhaps. But we're not there yet. We're only capable of that, as we are as capable as change. Change for the better. Pursuing life as we will, and pursuing it with concern for one another. There was a guy, I don't know, some fella I know, who really preached it, suggested even so, that a whole book was written about this very topic, because all commandments, he had declared, were of this essential decree. To love God with all your might, and to love each other as you would love yourself. That is the proclamation of the truth of the way of life, the Tao of existence. Isn't this nice? These are beautiful. Some churches. Beautiful. The Byzantine Catholic Slovak Cathedral. The nativity of the Mother of God.
You want to get it?
Cool.
Kind of. Do it. That's not fair. I'm not seeing it.
You know, spring is renewal, isn't it? It's like, you know, we suffer the mighty oppression of winter, the hardship of snow, sleet, slush, cold, at least in the northern climates. And we don't go out as much, and we keep to ourselves. And spring is like the rejuvenation of our spirit, the chance of new beginning, of the new way of life, of hope. Now, hope. Now, hope and faith. Someone once said that we need faith. We need faith. faith in God. We need faith in Him. And I extend that, do we not, in ourselves. We need faith in ourselves. They can't do it all. Because if they could, or if they ought to, and they could have, well, we wouldn't be in such a difficult time with the world. Can we assume that that's the state of the thing? That we are in trouble? War, Ukraine, and universal war, national wars, food supplies, poverty, starvation, disease, toxicity. I mean, so we're in trouble. Okay, grant me that. Now, if they were to come, let me ask you something. There was a line by Bob Marley who said, some people think that great God will come from the sky, get down to the ground and make everybody feel high. Well, if you were him, would you? If you're omnipotent, and that's a big word, because it depends on what you ask. Like, dear God, what's the next lottery ticket number? And dear God, can you fix oil acidic waters so that they glisten again and remove cancerous lead from the native Indian drinking water supply? And can you revitalize the world to eliminate discrimination from the clans? No, that's not omnipotence I think he can do, or if he can, would he? I don't think we have knowledge of this concept anyway, but if he were to come, what would he do? He'd leave it to you. What freedom. Freedom because we have the power. Like, if we stuck with the original rules and we honored God, that means we wouldn't betray His rules. That means we wouldn't dishonor His planet, His home, our planet. We wouldn't dishonor each other. We would love one another. We would respect Him, and we would have dignity, self-respect, self-esteem. And all in all, I don't think we'd be here. So what is He really what more should He do? And in fact, isn't it up to us to sort of like snap out of it and take action before tin can is it? We leave it that way for generations that even inhabit it until the dying day, the end. I don't mean to be so morbid, but I don't know, the signs, we gotta invest in ourselves and consider the truth sooner or later, the potential truth, as a possibility, as a viable possibility. Because what are we looking at? A few generations at best, if we stay on the present course. I don't want it as much as the next person. So it has to be spoken. We have to have it in our awareness. We must think it through. we must be cognizant of the potential of messing it all up. And the potential of saving it too. Now, what would that entail? I have an answer. Alright, Jay. Peace. Sounds kind of simple. Peace. And then simple truth is always mistook for simplicity when it is vital. So tell me, how do we get peace? Lay down your arms. Peace is something simple to solve because war is an act and peace is resistance to that act. And it is easier to stop an act because peace is the absence of war. War is not the absence of peace, I think. Yeah. Yeah. Those are on board in the season of spring, and they're here to see it. I forget what you call them, but we'll get a closer look. In Toronto. They last for a few days. Beautiful. So peace is a solution. Yeah. The rest, though, you must admit, bargaining. I mean, it's a political with vested interest. People with ulterior motives to collect power and wealth, to accumulate land, riches, natural resources. How then do you broker peace? Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know, John Lennon said this. If you wanted that much, if you wish for it that much, if you ask for it that much, it'll happen. Now, Paul McCartney recently said, I never bought that premise. I never believed that. It sounded like a simple solution, and in the 60s and 70s, it obviously didn't work. But let us imagine we're in Russia, and the Russians, like they do on TV, the news anchor people protesting to their citizens, no more war, and folding the news media stations. That's effective, and that's gotta hurt Putin. And that's gotta hurt his ruling class. And that's gotta make a difference. Because that's power detracted. So, a decision, a simple decision, like, no thank you, and we protest and we declare it unsavory. Maybe is something that we can all contribute, because that is in line with loving our fellow people as ourselves, because we don't want war. We don't want to be entrapped, enslaved, imprisoned. So if we don't want it ourselves, why not want it for others and make a difference and treat others by participating in the Ukraine cause, you know? And that is a simple example of giving as you would like to be received if in need. If you had to declare anything, what would you declare? This. Love God. Wow. There's so much there. Because that's just not a given. No. And it is not easy. It is. It is. Well, I'll tell you why I think it's not easy. Because you have to be true to yourself and be willing to expose everything openly, fully, completely, unhinged and uncovered, literally. Yeah. For some, that would be fearful. Yeah. You know, all the darknesses of our life exposed to the light, there's the fear of consequence from an almighty God who judges us. So someone might ask, how hard a judge is God? From my own experience, patient, understanding, open-minded, caring, compassionate, and firm. And that's appreciated. That's appreciated. Not wavering, but firm. And forgiving, of course. But patient. And truly unfathomably understanding. That's pretty much it. You know, it's kind of interesting how I would describe my perception of God. Because I see him young at heart, like a 30-year-old in energy and in spirit, but truly a father. And that's like a conundrum to me, because a father should be Michelangelo's father, the creation of Adam, a 75, 80-year-old man with a beard being old. But the spirit of God is young and sweet. Yeah. It's a great day. A wonderful day to go for a walk. Finally, spring has come. Finally. People are walking around in groups. Some, not many, but groups of 3 seems to be the norm. Walking their dogs, hanging out with friends, chilling, just sitting back. Let's see if I can get any of all these people on. Now, my encounterings with the other guy, he's very predictable. It's almost like you know him. The only difference is you're surprised also at his sense of humor. And you're surprised at his mega intelligence. And most of all, you're surprised at his modern views. Ha. That's awesome. Very awesome. Sometimes you have Christ on one side, God on the other side, and you can predict who's going to be conservative and who's going to be open-minded. Yeah. Yeah. This is a journey I know is numbered. I won't have this for the rest of my days, though I thought I am the happiest and richest man alive for having this in my life and having had it for over a decade. But the days are numbered, and I will have these as mementos, and every mile, every kilometer spent as a token of a journey that doesn't end, but that started on moments I'll remember forever, under predicaments relationships, people, situations, which I'll be able to write down, think about, conjure in my mind, all in the context of this awesome journey. Nothing beats it. I could go tomorrow, and I could go tomorrow again. Again I could go and face death's door and be okay, feeling I have lived and lived well. So this is my second walk. I want to summarize and say the potential of life is in our hands, and we have as much hope as we've always had, and we have more urgency to act on that hope. However, the rules apply, the same ones. 2, you love God and you love yourself as much as you love the other. That's a hard call. Or rather, it's love the other as much as you love yourself. That's a challenge. Not easy, but a challenge. And a worthy one. And if you can't quite do it, I'd say close approximations, but I'm not a theologian. I just say ever more close approximations to the goal. Better than far, far, far from it. And I tell you, suspend your disbelief, if you can, and consider this. Worthy men. The ones you may be afraid to know, the ones you're afraid to conjure in your mind, worthy men. Just knowing, following, and believing. Greatest investment I ever made. Good night.